citizen wondered. Are not the people still their own masters? Much of what they said is a matter of record. The infant periods of most nations are buried in silence or veiled in fable, James Madison once remarked. Not the United States. Its infancy is preserved like baby teeth kept in a glass jar, in the 4 parchment sheets of the Constitution, in the pages of almanacs that chart the weather of a long-ago climate, and in hundreds of newspapers, where essays for and against the new system of government appeared alongside the shipping news, auction notices, and advertisements for the return of people who never were their own masters, women and children, slaves and servants, and who had run away, hoping to ordain and establish for themselves and their posterity the blessings of liberty. The season of ratification was an autumn of ordinary bustle and business. In that October 30th, 1787 issue of the New York Packet, a schoolmaster announced that he was offering lessons in reading, writing, arithmetic, and merchants' accounts in rooms near City Hall. The estate of Geary, Champion and Company, consisting chiefly of a large and general assortment of drugs and medicines, was to be auctioned. Many-masted sailing ships from London and Liverpool, and trim schooners from St. Croix, Baltimore, and Norfolk had dropped anchor in the depths of the harbor. Sloops from Charleston and Savannah had tied their painters to the docks. A Scotsman offered a reward for the return of his stolen chestnut-colored mare, 14 hands high, lofty carriage, trots and canters very handsome. A merchant with a warehouse on Peck Slip wanted readers to know that he had for sale dry codfish, a quantity of molasses, ground ginger in barrels, York rum, pickled codfish, writing paper, and men's shoes. And the Columbian Almanac was for sale, with or without the Constitution as an appendix, at the printer's shop, where New Yorkers might also inquire after 2 people for a price. To be sold, a likely young Negro wench, 20 years of age. She is healthy and had the smallpox. She has a young male child. The mother was said to be remarkably handy at housework. Her baby was about 6 months old, still nursing. Their names were not mentioned. They were not ruled by reason and choice. They were ruled by violence and force. Between the everyday atrocity of slavery and the latest news from the apothecary, there appeared on page 2 of that day's New York Packet an essay titled The Federalist, No. 1. It had been written anonymously by a brash 30-year-old lawyer named Alexander Hamilton. You are called upon to deliberate on a new Constitution for the United States of America, he told his readers. But more was at stake, too, he insisted. The wrong decision would result in the general misfortune of mankind. The United States, he argued, was an experiment in the science of politics, marking a new era in the history of government. It seems to have been reserved to the people of this country, by their conduct and example, to decide the important question whether societies of men are really capable or not of establishing good government from reflection and choice, or whether they are forever destined to depend for their political constitutions on accident and force. This was the question of that autumn, and in a way it has been the question of every season since, the question of every rising and setting of the sun, on rainy days and snowy days, on clear days and cloudy days, at the clap of every thunderstorm. Can a political society really be governed by reflection and election, by reason and truth, rather than by accident and violence, by prejudice and deceit? Is there any arrangement of government, any constitution, by which it's possible for a people to rule themselves justly and fairly and as equals through the exercise of judgment and care? Or are their efforts, no matter their constitutions, fated to be corrupted, their judgment muddled by demagoguery, their reason abandoned for fury? This question, in every kind of weather, is the question of American history. It is also the question of this book, an account of the origins, course, and consequences of the American experiment over more than 4 centuries. It is not a simple question. I once came across a book called The Constitution Made Easy. The Constitution cannot be made easy. It was never meant to be easy. The American experiment rests on 3 political ideas. These truths, Thomas Jefferson called them: political equality, natural rights, and the sovereign